Greetings, one and all. Welcome to the Elite Ice Hockey League Mid-Playoff Podcast. I almost forgot what it was called. Hello, everyone. Chris, unmute your mic, mate. Where are you?
Yeah, hey guys.
There he is.
I'm here.
Hello.
I'm here.
Hello, folks. How are we? So, yeah, it's Chris. Stop moving your head. I keep having changes. Oh my god. Oh god, now he's moving. See, woo. Right. So, yeah. It's after the quarterfinals of the 2018 Elite League.
What are you doing to my camera?
Sorting it out. Stop moving your head! Oh my god! I need to keep changing it because you keep moving your bloody head. Oh, right. Keep your head exactly there for the next 2 hours. So,
What?
yeah. We got lots of Elite League stuff to talk about. So, Chris,
Is that a Panthers jersey I see by any chance?
So for those of you who weren't here last week or watched it later on last week, we did a podcast last week just before the quarterfinals, and Mr. Chris Gadsby decided we did our playoff brackets to see who would win the playoffs, and the fella to my right said that Belfast we're gonna win the entire playoffs.
It was looking good until about 5 minutes of the third period to go.
Fair play. So yeah, as I think Chris has said already, we both went to watch the Belfast-Nottingham game. It was bloody amazing, and Chris wrote a little article about it, saying that it was like would you say it was the best game or one of the best games?
No, it was the best I've ever seen in person.
That's definitely like right up the top with mine as well. Like that was such a good game of hockey.
It really was.
So Chris, what have you been doing today?
I've been at work and making that lovely thumbnail screen you can
it's
see
nice,
behind
isn't
you.
it?
I took inspiration
what I've been doing
from.
Today.
Well, you didn't wake up until 11:30.
It's true, I didn't. I'm on Easter holidays, guys.
Yeah, make the most of them while you've got them.
Exactly. So, Chris, ask me what I've been doing today.
Oh, what have you been doing today?
Triggering Sheffield Steelers fans!
Oh, yes. Yes. Just before we go into... Did you see... I meant to send you... Ice Locker are doing a second run of Panthers trading cards.
I did see that. They've sold out on Series 1, and I didn't get my signed David Clark card. I'm not happy. Although, I got something I can show you, though. Oh, let me get this up. It's the hockey... Oh, you can't see it because of the green screen. God damn it. Wait, can you see the inside? You might be able to see the inside. I did a little bit of work yesterday, for those of you who didn't see it. Let's see if I can find them. I'm on this. Here we go. The entire Nottingham pack, like 18 cards here. Wait, how do I get it there? Hey! I found some space in my binder. There you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Anyway, podcast.
That does look really good.
Yeah, 18. 18 out of the 22.
22, yeah.
If anybody has a signed David Clark card, I want it. Give it to me now. That's all I need in my life right now.
That is literally all he wants.
Yeah, it is literally all I want. I've been tweeting at him, like, obsessively, like, give it to me! Right. So, should we actually, like, start talking about what this podcast is about, then?
Well, as you keep saying, it's your podcast, so I was waiting for you to lead.
Yeah, that's very true. What we're going to do is, we are keeping an eye on the chat and the comments. We're going to talk about each sort of bracket individually, and then we'll get to the comments, because we find that whenever we bring the chat into it, we kind of go off the rails for the next half an hour. So we'll look at each bracket. So as you can see by the beautiful background picture that the lovely Chris Gadsby made for us, it's got each of the different quarterfinal matchups, the winner and the loser. Look at that. Gah. Oh, he should have been working, but there you go.
Oh, that was on my lunch break.
Ah, fair play. So, we may as well go from left to right on this. So, Cardiff against Coventry. That was the
What I've
third
done, if you've really been observant, you'll see that I've done it in such a way that the two teams on the left are the ones they'll play each other in the semis, and the two teams on the right play each other in the semis.
Ah, look at you! I didn't
You
realise you
see.
put so much thought into it. So,
I really didn't. It took 2 seconds.
So, the Devils and Coventry Blaze. The Cardiff Devils won 8-5 on aggregate against the Coventry Blaze. Although the second leg score was 4-3. What was the... Oh, it was 4-2 after the first leg, wasn't it? It was 4-2 to Cardiff after the first leg, and then 4-3 to the Devils on the second leg. So it's 8-5 overall. And Cardiff, unsurprisingly, have gone through. Chris, your thoughts?
Blaze gave them a run for their money, though, didn't they? Because they were tied up at 5 at one point.
Well,
I don't think the...
Sorry, you go. You go.
I said I don't think the final scoreline kind of reflects the tie, really, because it was...
I mean,
it
considering that Coventry were actually the first team to score in this series, and they managed to bring it back up to 5-5 before, I think it was like a third period resurgence by the Devils managed to give them the victory. Like, Coventry did a decent job as the number 8 seed. They made it difficult for Cardiff, I think, which is good. That's what you want from a series. You don't want a series to be a 10-0 blowout, because then it's kind of like, well, those two teams shouldn't be matched up against each other.
Yeah, no, but none of them were 10-0 blowouts, so that was good.
I really,
when it got back to 5-5, I thought, oh, can Coventry sneak this? Can Coventry, like I say, I don't think the final scoreline kind of does it justice.
I like you said, I think Coventry, you've got to give props to Coventry. They played their very best, and unfortunately it didn't work out for them, but like they managed to take the team that's won the league 2 years straight. It took them a third period resurgence to beat the Coventry Blaze. Like, yeah, as a Cardiff fan, I'd be like, oh, like this should have been a lot easier than this. You know, like they should have. It shouldn't have been like a walk in the park, like a 10-0 aggregate series, but it shouldn't have taken a third period resurgence to put down the Coventry Blaze.
No, it really shouldn't. But I mean, as we know and as we've seen in these 4 series, anything can happen in the playoffs.
Exactly, anything can happen in the playoffs, and I think this playoff quarterfinals, at least 2 of the series, have definitely shown that.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and this one for Coventry tying it, I think anything can happen in the playoffs, definitely. But
I mean, there was a point. There was a point where the Blaze had tied it up, so the 8th seed were on the verge of going through. Fife were the 7th seed, and they have. Guildford were the 6th seed, and they had it tied up at one point, and the Nottingham Belfast game was always close. Yeah.
And then a couple of calls by the refs. I mean, I didn't watch the game, so I don't know how legitimate they were, but it's kind of coincidental, I would say. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we both thought the Cardiff Devils would go through, so we both got that bracket right. Just a disclaimer, we got 3 out of the 4 of our brackets right, didn't we?
Yes.
But
so
they were different 3 and 4. Yeah, get your brackets up. Get your brackets up.
They're here. It's alright, it's here.
Good.
So I had all of them apart from the Nottingham Belfast game, which could have gone either way. And you had all of them apart from the Fife Manchester game, which again could have gone either way.
Yeah, that really could have gone either way. I mean, even this one, the Devils Blaze, once it went 5-5, that could have gone either way as well. Like, I think that kind of does show you the parity there is in most of the Elite League teams. Like, there isn't a huge amount in it compared to quite a lot of these teams.
No, I mean, I think if you say that, okay, yeah, Cardiff won the league by what, 10 points, something like that. Yeah. So they were the most consistent. But I think what the playoffs have proven is that on any given night, any team can beat any other team in any arena.
Which is what you want in the best league in the world. However, betting people probably don't like that, which is a fair statement because they want to know who's going to win. Whereas, I mean, the only ones that you know where somebody's going to win, like 99% of the time, is Edinburgh. But we won't go into that today. So
no, this is the playoff podcast, so they're not going to be mentioned.
They who shall not be named. So the Devils and the Blaze, guys, what do you think about the Cardiff and the Coventry series? Chris, can you find a couple of comments for us?
Yes. We've got Jacob Freeman, who says, we did well considering it was against the Devils. We played very well. They played on skill, but we played on adrenaline. The aggregate score in the 2 third periods was 5-0 to them, which says everything.
Well, yeah, they were able to close out the games, but like they didn't play very well. Like 5 out of their 8 goals were scored in the third period. Like they weren't a 60-minute team, which I mean, to be a playoff champion, you kind of need to be. I would think anyway.
Yeah, Rise Gaming HD says Coventry definitely put up a fight against Cardiff from what he's seen.
I would agree with that.
I'm just scrolling back to see if there's anything else. They're pretty much, to be fair, they're all talking about Panthers Giants. So.
Well, yeah, we'll get onto that one. Don't you worry, folks.
Yeah, I think that looks about it. Yeah, okay, that's it. That's
right. Perfect. So then, let me just bring up the next one. I'm just getting
a couple more since we started talking.
Oh, sure, yeah,
Unhumorous the Gamer says Cardiff were for sure going through, but props to Coventry for their efforts. And Total Carnage says Coventry obviously were the underdogs, but the skill from Cardiff was fantastic.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I completely agree with all that.
Hot Shot says pressures on the Devils in their semi-final as Fife have nothing to lose.
Yeah. Hi, Max. How's it going, mate? Nice to meet you on Sunday, by the way. It was Sunday, wasn't it? It was Sunday, right?
It was Sunday, yes.
I mean,
I know the bank holiday weekend has kind of made it seem a bit...
Yeah. Tell me about it. So, the next series we can talk about is the Fife Flyers and the Manchester Storm. So, just to recap, after the first leg of this one, the Manchester Storm were winning against the Fife Flyers by a aggregate score of 4-1. And then
in Fife, we should point that out.
Yeah, in Fife, yep. And then Fife managed to do a decent job. They managed to tie the series aggregate, take it to overtime, and I think it was Carlo Finucci, his overtime winner, helped complete what seemed an unlikely comeback as they dumped Manchester Storm out of the Predictabet playoffs in dramatic fashion. So, the Flyers took a 6-5 series aggregate over the Manchester Storm. I did not expect this one whatsoever. Well, I mean, we did kind of... Well, we did say that Fife would be the sort of dark horse of this playoffs. Either them or Guildford. They would be the ones that you're like, oh, they could do something here, they could not. That's the way it goes. But, yeah, I mean, when they came up against Manchester have played really well this season. Like, they've had a couple of seasons ever since they joined the Elite League of sitting quite low in the league standings, if not at the bottom. However, I would have liked Manchester to have done well because they've spent so long at the bottom of the league and they finally found their feet. They finally got that structure behind them. But Fife, I mean, Manchester clearly took their foot off the gas in the second leg. What do you think, Chris?
That was the one that got me. That was the one game that got me constantly checking my phone on Sunday night.
Yeah, and you constantly texting me on Sunday night while the Panthers game was going on. I wasn't looking at my phone during the game, and I kept feeling my phone vibrate. I was like, "Is Chris telling me another goal? Is he telling me another goal?"
Yeah, and that was the one going into it because I had Fife to win, and it was the one. It was the one going into it. I thought, well, I've lost that. There's absolutely no point.
Yeah.
And the Panthers Giants game was the last one to start on Sunday night.
Yeah, it started at 7.
Yeah, and everything else started at 5:30 or 6.
Yeah.
So by the time the Panthers had started, I think Fife were already 2 up and had pulled it to within 1.
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah,
And then I was like, well, I need to keep checking this because they could pull this comeback off.
Mm.
And then when I came to see you at the end of the first period, they were tied and the Devils were tied with Coventry. And I was there going, are Fife actually going to do it? And then Manchester scored at the start of their third. And I was like, oh, okay, no, it's not actually going to happen. I'm going to get it wrong. 5 tie it up. It goes into overtime. And then I was constantly refreshing because their overtime was in our second period break. And they got the goal. And I was just like, oh, yes, I'm back in it.
Oh, and I didn't know this, but Fife are in the playoff finals for the third time in 5 years.
Yeah, they got in, was it last year, and then lost like 15-8 in the third place playoff to Belfast?
No, that was Dundee.
Was it done? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dundee made it to the semi-finals and got beaten by Sheffield? Yeah, Sheffield, because Cardiff went against Belfast in the semi-finals.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, like, even when you made your prediction for your bracket saying, oh, Fife are going to go through, like, I don't think you thought it was actually going to happen. You were just like, oh, let's just make it interesting.
To be fair, I knew it was going to be close, but I thought, well, my head says Manchester, but if I go with that, we're going to have just the exact same bracket.
Yeah.
So let's make it, let's have a little bit of difference in it.
No, fair play.
So I went with Fife, and it came off.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting it. I mean, you now, since they've gone through, you're like, oh yeah, I predicted it the whole time. But, yeah, I mean, fair play to Fife. Like, they have a long history of hockey and successful hockey in the Elite League. And
Well, they're the oldest team, so
I believe so. Yeah. How many years are
Fife
they
and
older than
then
Nottingham?
Panthers. I think it's 4, but it might be 3.
4. Right, yeah, something like that. Because I know the Panthers were around during the Second World War, weren't they?
46.
Oh, just
I
after
think.
then. Because the Flyers started at 38.
Or am I getting the 6 confused with 56 for the league title? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So, anyway. So the Fife Flyers... So we've got the Cardiff Devils through and the Fife Flyers. So they're going to play in the semi-final.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about semi-finals and final in our predictions.
We'll do that once we've
later
done the
on.
quarters, yeah.
Yeah. So we move now to the next one, which
Are we doing the chat from the Flyers game?
Oh yeah, no, good call. Sorry, my bad. Yeah.
So,
I can't even remember my own bloody system.
I know. Jacob Freeman says the Flyers did very well at Storm's Place. Yes, they did.
Oh yeah, they did.
Total Carnage was always going to be a tough game for either team in the Fife Manchester series, but great results for the Flyers.
Yeah.
Then we've got Rise Gaming again says the Flyers definitely don't like to win easily.
It's like the New York Rangers all over again.
Max says the Storm completely bottled it in the second leg, rested on their lead and got super complacent. They didn't look like they were bothered, didn't chase down any second pucks, relied on dumping and chasing.
I hate the dump and chase. I hate it.
Unhumorous, the gamer, agrees with him. Manchester were way too overconfident in the second leg, so they didn't try. Hammond put up a performance deserving man of the match. Allington Skates, shame Manchester didn't get through after a great season for them. Rise Gaming, Hammond was definitely a standout player during the series, just in front of Finucci's second leg effort.
Of course.
Jacob said he sat behind the goal at the playoffs a couple of years ago next to a Flyers fan who used Google Translate to swear at Mika Wikman in Swedish.
That's brilliant. Oh, that's fantastic. You know, if you really want to get into a goalie's head, swear at them in their native language. There you go, folks. You can't say that this isn't educational, this podcast.
Oh, I know. Total Carnage says it was always going to be a tough game for the Flyers in the Storm series, but great result for Fife. All the pressure goes on Cardiff on finals weekend.
Yeah.
Fife have nothing to lose.
Very true.
Yeah, there we go.
Nice. Well, thank you for your comments on the chat and everything. We try and read as much of them as possible, but we want to make sure that we get through. Once we get through all of the topics and our predictions and stuff, we'll make it more sort of relaxed and be like, oh, let's look at the comments as we go along.
Your best bet is, if you want us to definitely see your comment, is type it as we say right now. Let's look at the chat.
Yeah, that's a good call. Now the penultimate quarterfinal series, the last one to wrap up, was the Nottingham Panthers and the Belfast Giants. So, Chris,
yes, now sit down, because this one's going to go on a while. This one's going to go on for a while.
No, we'll keep it concise. We'll keep it straight to the point. But
okay.
So, how do you feel about Belfast losing and your bracket being screwed, Chris?
I was in a pretty good situation towards the end of that game, because if the Panthers won, I was happy because I'm a Panthers fan, and if Belfast won, I was happy because my bracket was correct.
And your bracket isn't correct anymore, is it?
No, but neither's yours.
Yeah, but I mean, who said that Belfast was going to win the entire playoffs and they're out in the quarterfinals?
Yeah, well,
That was Chris, by the
that's
way, if anybody was
that's
wondering.
that's why I don't bet.
Exactly.
Other
So,
than the fact I'm not allowed to because I work in ice hockey, but apart from
fair
that,
play. So, let me just bring up the important stuff about this. So, the Panthers and the Giants. It was an 8-7 aggregate. It was a 4-3 victory for the Belfast Giants on the Friday. It was on Good Friday at the SSE Arena in Belfast. And then it was a 5-3 victory in overtime, which it's not very often you see a 2-goal overtime victory in at Nottingham Arena. And Dan Spang scored the game-winning goal with 25.7 seconds left in overtime. Oh my word, what a brilliant game that was. So Chris,
I jumped so high I nearly landed on top of the elderly gentleman in front of me.
I think I may have nearly lost my voice, like, celebrating that final goal.
Yeah, my girlfriend says she has a sore throat now after Sunday night.
So, yeah, like, the problem with this game was the Panthers didn't make it easy for themselves. That's the bit that I really disliked. They very much, for the first, like, for the first sort of 20 minutes, it was very much like the inconsistency of the Nottingham Panthers this season.
Well, I mean, if you want to go that far, Darnell didn't make it very easy for the Panthers in the first 20 minutes.
Actually. Tom Darnell, he's got a bit of a reputation in the league by the looks of it, as being a bit of a referee that likes to make it all about him. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. It looks like it, but I don't know. And yeah, he really wanted to give some penalties to the home side. Some fair. I'm not going to be like, oh, we gave these penalties. None of them were right. Some of them were right. Like, yeah, if you commit a penalty, you should be taken to court for it. But some of them were a bit crap. Like,
no, the best bit was the Panthers DJ Ken playing Hallelujah when the first Belfast penalty was called.
I think the problem that I have with this sort of thing is, I guess this is a question that I want to ask you, Chris, and sort of everybody in the chat. Do you think that there should be a huge amount... Okay, let me try and word this properly just to make sure I get the right question out there. Do you think that the playoffs should be held to the same sort of strictness of penalties to the regular season? Of course, there are certain things.
I can see where you're getting at in the sense of let the game flow is what you're getting at. But of course, you also then want the consistency because you don't want to play one game under one set of rules and one game under another.
No, like not that at all. Like, I'm just meaning like, you know, like how in the playoffs the game's a lot more physical. Like, you know that there are going to be hits like every 20 seconds because there are players trying to assert their dominance and do anything that they can to sort of help their team win. I don't mean like, oh, get rid of the cross-checking penalty. Let them rip their heads off.
I mean just like being more lenient rather than just...
I mean, to me, I think it's more of like, oh, a little bump here, a little stick tap here. Like, those things, I can get why they're penalised, of course. But if it's the playoffs, like, I kind of feel like you don't need to be so strict on that stuff. Like, if it's like potentially damaging to the other player, yes. But if it's like two people have come along at each other against the boards, they've started to skate away, one of them's given them a little tap, one of them's given them the tap back, that's fine. Like, that doesn't need to be called or anything like that. I don't think, anyway. It's the playoffs. That's the sort of stuff that happens. Like, both of these teams, their season was on the line. Like, you know that they're going to try and pull all of the punches. I'm not saying that, oh, like, and like, as I think you can tell, like, get rid of the rule book. Not at all. I just don't think there should be a huge amount of penalties for really minute, stupid stuff, which is kind of how I felt at the Nottingham game, not just for the Panthers in some cases as well. For the Giants as well, there was a lot of sort of nitpicky penalties, which is kind of like, in the regular season, in game number 33 of the regular season, sure, if that's how you want to do it, that's fine. But it's the playoffs. It's the playoffs, you know, like, that's really important. Like, for most of the game, there was for most of the game, Nottingham were fighting for their season, essentially. They were fighting to stay in the playoffs. And a little stick tap there shouldn't be a 2-minute penalty, I don't think.
I think as long as the referee stays in control, it's all right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If he starts letting absolutely everything go, and like, some really heavy hits where the player stays down for a couple of seconds and lets them rough it out every single time and starts to lose control, then there's a problem. But I don't think there's any wrong with, a bit of extra body contact in the
Exactly.
playoffs.
Yeah. So yeah, we watched this game, and it was a 1-goal lead for the Belfast Giants going into the first period,
Yep.
or going into the second leg. At the end of the first period, I wasn't very happy. I wasn't very happy.
No, I came to see you at the end of the first, and Panthers were 2-0 down, so 3 goals down in the tie, and you were not happy at all.
I was not happy, and this is the reason why I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. Well, I've got several reasons. One, it took me 3 fucking hours to get there. They better put on a show.
It wouldn't have taken you that long if you hadn't had to go back to remember your student ID card.
Okay, it took me 3.5 hours to get there because I forgot my student ID. Secondly, I knew the Panthers could have tied the aggregate up really early if they'd just played how the Nottingham Panthers play. The problem with the Panthers this season, like as some people have said, you never know what what Panthers team you're going to get. Are you going to get the Champions Hockey League through to the playoffs, Nottingham Panthers, or are you going to get the going 2-0 down to the Edinburgh Capitals, Nottingham Panthers? Like, you've never quite know. There's not been enough consistency with the Panther season, as shown in their place in the standings. Like, they were down in 7th for quite a long time in the season. So, I knew that if the Nottingham Panthers rose to the occasion and played how we all knew that they could play, and how they should have known that they could play, then the aggregate would have been tied up early, and then it's basically a 0-0 game. Let's see what happens. However, they didn't do that in the first period. They did that for the rest of the game. They managed to make it a 2-2 game after the second period, so the aggregate was back down to 1. Then they tied with they scored with just under 5 minutes left in the game to no, that's not right. They scored early in the third,
it was the Panthers scored early in the third, and then they took the lead with 4.5 minutes of the third period to go. That took the lead of the overall tie, not just the game.
I believe
with
it was
4.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I believe it was exactly, like, if we're talking exacts, because I'll talk about that later. 4 minutes 44 left in the third period, and then 4 minutes 14. Belfast
we held the lead for all
again.
of 30 seconds.
Yeah, so the Nottingham Panthers had the lead in the series for 30 seconds out of the 120 minutes of the game of the series.
I wrote it in my article, didn't I?
Yeah. I saw that tweet as well. I thought that was really interesting.
It was really interesting. I'll get it up. Hang on. Right. So there was 124 minutes, 34.3 seconds of the playoff tie. Panthers were ahead for 30 seconds of it and won 8-7.
Like, I can understand why Belfast fans would be like, I hate this. I hate this more than anything in my life.
97 minutes.
Yeah, like both games, the Belfast Giants turned up and played hockey. The problem was they couldn't sustain that for 60 minutes.
No, that game, it could have finished. What did it actually finish? It finished 5-3, didn't it? It could have finished about 9-7 had it not been for the two netminders who made some outstanding saves.
Patrick Galbraith's, apart from his 2 early mistakes, I think is the best way to put them. Apart from his 2 early mistakes, he played fantastically in that game. He only allowed 1 more goal after that. And Jackson Whistle, oh my lord. Like, he's the 3rd string goalie for the Team GB team after the playoffs? Mm. Like, I think with his effort this season, he's earned himself at least a game or 2 in the World Championships. Like, because who are the other 2 goalies? It's Bounds, which of course he's the starter, and is it Day?
Yeah, may well be. I'd have to check it.
Yeah, like, they're 3 solid goaltenders. I've got to be honest, like, Jackson Whistle, like, some people have said it in the chat as we've gone along, like, his glove save, like, his sort of, like, sprawling glove save is one of the best I've ever seen in this.
I saw the Galbraith one better than I saw the Whistle one because it was at my end of the ice.
Yeah.
And, it was incredible.
Jackson Whistle's save was absolutely incredible. It was like, Honestly, like, if do the Elite League do save of the season?
No.
Because if they did, I think he should win that award. And not just because of the save itself, but the context of the save. He was keeping his team in the playoffs at that point. He knew that if the Panthers had scored a goal, I think at that point he would have the Panthers would have gone up in the aggregate by either a goal or 2 goals. So he knew that he had to he knew that he had to do it right, and he knew he had to do everything he could for his team. And he did. Like, Jackson Whistle, I cannot fault Jackson Whistle for his play. Like, sure, he allowed 5 goals in that game, but he played as well as he could have given the circumstances.
Did you see him break his stick after he let the overtime goal in?
Oh, did he seriously? I didn't see that.
He was frustrated. Watch the highlights. He was so annoyed with himself. He threw his stick onto the ice, broke it in half, and then chucked it away.
Well, I mean, I don't blame him. Like, that's the goal that ended their season. Like,
yeah. Just in the GB Ice Hockey, the Ice Hockey UK website with the GB men has Bounds, Stephen Murphy, and Thomas Murdy.
Really?
But that might not be 100% updated.
I could have sworn. Maybe Murdy instead of Day, though. Some people have mentioned that in the chat. That probably makes more sense. But definitely Jackson Whistle was on that list. I remember seeing when they announced it. I'm pretty sure he was on that list. So, yeah, anything else you want to add on this one, Chris, before we go to comments? Because I kind of feel like I've just, like, spilled a load of crap.
Yeah, but if we're not careful, we're going to go on about the Panthers game for about half an hour, so we'll carry on. So let's have a look. It
was a really good game, and it was fantastic, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and Chris really enjoyed it.
Best game I've ever seen. I'm so glad that. Well, what I'd like to do here is give a shout out to my girlfriend's parents who decided not to be bothered to go to Derbyshire, which is why we ended up going.
Yes! Woo! Woo! Chris's girlfriend's parents!
I was umming and ahhing about going, but she was going to go up to Derbyshire, and I didn't really fancy kind of going on my own. And then I ended up going, and I was just like, yes, I'm so glad I went. Yeah. Right. Total Carnage says, all in capitals, we're the Nottingham Panthers, we're the Nottingham Panthers.
We're the Nottingham Panthers. Sorry, anyway.
Quite. Rise Gaming says 25.7 seconds left in overtime. Call that cutting it close.
Yep.
Hot Shot, what a great vote of confidence from Giants in sticking with Whistle when Murphy has a record of big game wins.
I mean, Whistle played fantastic. Like,
yeah, he really did. Freddie Smith says Tom Darnell is an arse.
There you go.
Max says we all know the worst ref in the league is Tom Perring.
All right.
I'm trying more Panthers. Bussiers has had a lot of criticism this season, but he had a fantastic second leg.
Yeah, he played very well. Bussier played very well.
You did. Total Carnage again. Us Panthers never do make it easy for us. We all hate Darnell in Nottingham. Let the game flow. For example, the Stormflies game, the refs lost control and it went downhill. And those are your Panthers Giants comments.
So if anybody has any forfeits for Chris because he lost his bracket last week, do let us know.
But we've got this. Whatever. I can't be bothered.
So the final series here is with the fan base that I've been tweeting and tweeted at all day.
Oh, if anybody wants a laugh, just go on Oddman Rush's tweets and replies section of his profile because it's just so funny.
Yeah, so should we talk about that or should we talk about the quarterfinal first?
No, do the quarterfinal first.
Right, okay. We'll go into my little adventure. Let's see if anybody's actually tweeted me again.
It's just so funny.
The Sheffield Steelers and the Guildford Flames, I would say the surprise playoff finalist or playoff quarter finalist. They played. It was the first leg was in Sheffield at Fly DSA Arena, I believe, and the second leg was at the Guildford Spectrum. Pretty nice arena, I might add. And after the first leg, it was, I believe, 5-2. Yeah.
Just let me jump in before it disappears.
Sure.
You'll want to look at Andy.
Oh, Andy,
again.
Thanks for the money, mate. Appreciate it, dude. Just got paid.
I didn't want it to disappear up and.
No, cheers for the super chat, Andy. But you got to sponsor me instead, dude. We've talked about this. I want them custom emojis. Yeah. Anyway, go on, Chris. Talk.
If it's not at the top of the screen, if you go on to Google and go and watch this through YouTube Gaming, it should definitely be there.
Yes, we need those custom emojis.
Should definitely be there.
Okay, well, I mean, since we're using the time to do it, if you want to. Sponsor the channel, like it's like $5 a month or something, and it helps support the channel, and then like he gives me free videos like 5 times a week. Let me give him a little bit of money to help him out. You don't have to, of course. It's completely up to you. I don't care if you do it one way or the other.
I'd put the link in the chat, but it doesn't let me put links in the chat.
Well, send it to me on Twitter, and I'll throw it over.
Okay, yeah, I'll give it a go.
Because I can put stuff in the chat. Oh, wait, actually...
Yeah, no worries.
That's a good idea. Well done, me. So, yeah, it's like £5 or like $5, and we need one more sponsor to get custom emojis. So, do it. We need that last sponsor, because then I can make a custom emoji about this channel, and then every time you use it, it'll be our special thing. And it'll be like a club with, like, only certain members. We'll be like the Odd Man Rush Club. It's like the Breakfast Club, but we don't actually eat breakfast, and Emilio Estevez isn't there. And
it'll just be like the Odd Men Out again.
The Odd Men Out. Damn right. So, yeah. Anyway. So while Chris is doing that, let me just talk about the thing.
Yep. I can still talk, I'm just...
The Guildford Flames put up a fight. The Guildford Flames did a decent job of taking the Steelers to... It was 9-7 on aggregate in total. And the Steelers went 2-0 up in the first leg in Fly DSA Arena in Sheffield. And then the Steelers scored 5 goals in the third period to make it a 5-2 game. 2 goals scored on a 2-minute 5-on-3 penalty. So take from that what you will, ladies and gents. I think that's a little bit suspect, but I didn't watch the game. I'm going to put that out there right now. I didn't watch the game. I didn't actually see anything that happened, so I might be completely wrong in my estimations. But a 2-minute 5-on-3 power play seems a little bit suspect to me. But they managed to tie the game up from that, and they rode that to a rode that to a 5-2 victory in the first leg, and then the second leg was at the Guildford Spectrum, and the Flames actually won the game 5-4, but they lost on aggregate 9-7. Now, for a team that joined the league at the start of this season, to take the defending playoff champions to a 9-7 series aggregate, that is solid. Like, I give absolute props to the Guildford Flames players, fans, coaches, and staff. Like, that's a successful season in my eyes for the Guildford Flames. I don't think anybody in the Guildford organisation should feel disappointed with what happened. You know?
No, definitely not.
What do you think, Chris?
Well, considering it's their first season in the league, I think they've done really well.
Damn right.
I mean, they had it really close at one point, and we were wondering if they could do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a shame they didn't. It would have been great for the league if, in a sense, an expansion team got through to the finals weekend.
That would be fantastic. It'd basically be like the Vegas Golden Knights of the EIHL.
Yeah.
Which would be awesome. With regards to this series, I mean, like, we both expected Sheffield to go through, didn't we? Like,
we did, yeah, we did.
One of the things we said was, like, Guildford have done a very good job of making games difficult for other teams over the season. However, Sheffield has been the one that has kind of not had that problem against Guildford. Like, they have to an extent because they lost, I think they were 3-1 in terms of the season victories. However, like, the Sheffield Steelers did a fantastic job of locking it down. Like, whether there was any one event that... I mean, because I've talked about the 5-on-3 penalty a lot. I don't want to say that, like, that's the reason they went through, because I think that's a little bit unfair. They were 2-0 down in the first game. They scored 5 goals in the third period. So they weren't really a 60-minute team. They were more a 20-minute team, if you want to argue that. But then in the in the second leg, it was kind of just guns blazing, really. Like, who could score as many goals? Like... but both teams knew what the aggregate was. One team wanted to make sure. Sheffield definitely had the approach of, we need to keep scoring goals, we can't rest. They basically did the opposite of Manchester, and it worked out for them. If you know what I mean. Because Manchester were more like, let's sit back on our aggregate lead, we've got strong enough defence, we can get this done. Whereas Sheffield were like, we don't want to take that risk, we just want to go in guns blazing, score more goals. And they did, and that was good, because otherwise they wouldn't have gone through. If they hadn't scored any more goals, they wouldn't have gone through. It would have been 7-5 to Guildford, so fair play to them.
That was, I've sent you that link if you want to put that up while I do the comments.
Marvellous. Go for it, boy.
So, where are we? Oh, it's basically just saying how much Sheffield run the goal is, to be honest. Freddie Smith says, haha, Sheffield run goal is lol, original comedy. Max says they did sleuth look comment last week, but yeah. Morgan, Sheffield love running goalies. Rise, they love crashing the goalie, not the net. Allington Skate says...
See, these. I don't think there are many. Sheffield Steelers fans in tonight.
Allington Skate says it's Tomo's little tactic.
By saying that my second favourite team in the Elite League is the Sheffield Steelers. They're the second live ice hockey game I ever went to watch at, think of the time, I can't remember what the name was at the time, but at Fly DSA Arena, essentially. And, I
think it was another Motorpoint Arena, if I remember.
Yeah, maybe. But I actually like the Sheffield Steelers organisation. Like, I think they've got solid players. It's just the
person right at the top.
Yeah. I think like, they do a lot of good stuff for British hockey. Like, I don't think you can fault them for anything in terms of what British hockey and what they've contributed towards the sport in this country.
No.
However, the guy running their Twitter, oh my lord. We'll get into that. We'll get onto that in a minute.
We'll get onto that. Max says one thing that will always see Sheffield through, to their credit, is their special teams. If you concede a penalty against them, you're screwed.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point.
Rise says Guildford did a lot better than I think a lot of people thought they would. Max says Guildford just need to be worried about keeping hold of guys like Dunbar to keep a solid base for next year.
Right, yeah.
Total Carnage says we call it crash the net, Shitfield call it injure the netminder. Allington says Armstrong likes running goalies as much as Nickerson likes hitting fans.
Comment of the day right there. Oh, if anybody can get better than that, fair play.
Total Carnage says he's reading your Twitter and howling in laughter.
Yeah, I mean, is there any other comments based on the series between the Steelers and the Flames? Because we can get onto this whole thing if you want. I'm ready. I'm guns blazing, mate. I'm ready to go.
Joe Blackburn says he's a Steelers fan. How many times?
I'm glad that we've got some Steelers fans in here. Like, don't get me wrong. I like the Steelers. I've said that. I'm wearing a Panthers jersey, but I do like the Steelers. I'm one of those weird people that likes both. Oh yeah, shut up, Chris. I'm one of those people that actually likes both. I know it's weird. I must be crazy, but I managed to do it. So.
He also says how many times have the Steelers won against the Panthers this season?
Probably a lot. I've watched most of them. It's because the Panthers have sucked this year.
Yeah.
But they're in the playoff finals. So.
Allington Skate says Dave Sims is to be the single worst person in UK hockey.
No, that's not right. Of course not.
And then, that's it.
Right. So
if you guys click on the link that Ovman put in the bottom right of the video window, there should be a green button that says sponsor.
Yeah.
There is for me anyway.
Yeah. So if you want to sponsor, go ahead. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. I completely understand. In terms of our brackets, we each got 3 out of 4 right. I said that Cardiff, Manchester, Nottingham and Sheffield were going through. I went for the 1, 2, 3, 4 because I'm so uneducated in British hockey. And Chris went for Cardiff, Fife, Belfast and Sheffield.
1, 7, 3, 5.
Yeah.
And it was 1, 7, 3, 4.
Yeah. And
so in terms of who was closer to the actual numbers, I was better.
Yeah, but we've also got to have the important thing that Guys, we got any forfeits for Chris? Because
Oh, shut up.
if I'm not mistaken, last podcast he said, I think the Belfast Giants can win it all. Do you see how
Yeah, I
they're
did
like
say
blacked
that.
out on the screen, Chris?
Funnily enough, yes, because I did it.
Fair point. So, yeah, if you have any forfeits for Chris, I mean, there is still a chance for me to fail my bracket as well. I will say that now, because I've got the Cardiff Devils to win the playoffs, and they've never won the playoffs. So history would say, Odd Man Rush, you're an idiot. Like, this isn't going to happen. However, it could happen, and the Cardiff Devils have been quite good this season. Although
I didn't realise we were only doing it on who won the whole thing. I thought we were doing who got the most games right.
No. Like, we've got to do it in the way that makes me win. That's first and foremost what happens here. Yeah. So I'm just going to read a tweet that the official Sheffield Steelers Twitter page.
This is... So are we getting on to the relaxed kind of general discussion now?
After this, we'll go through our predictions for the playoff finals, and then, yes, we'll go into the more sort of,
right, yeah.
let's chill out and talk about stuff. Let me just find this tweet. So I've been very busy.
It basically said, we're through to the finals.
Don't worry, I'm bringing it up. It's fine. I've got this. Right, so the tweet read, and I quote, "So has anyone got any Predict-A-Bet playoff tickets for sale, as we have received many requests? Let us know and we will retweet them out." Bracket, atting the Manchester Storm Twitter page. Manchester Storm, just saying. So then, me being the lovely human being that I am, I decided to write, "Stay classy, Sheffield." That's it. Stay classy, Sheffield. And quite a lot of triggered Sheffield fans have now decided to be like, "Oh my god, like it's just a joke. Like, oh, calm down. Like it's just a joke. Don't take everything so seriously." Yeah, it's meant to be a joke, but it's not funny. Like, jokes are supposed to make people laugh. Last time I checked.
What I love is that when I joined in, indirectly saying pretty much the same thing, loads of Sheffield Steelers fans liked my post.
Yeah, because the Sheffield were like, "Oh yeah, like has anybody got any tickets for Steelers fans? Oh, Manchester, you might have some." Basically implying, well, you didn't make it through to the final. Do you have any you want to give away because you didn't make it? Haha. So then,
yeah, and then I basically put a tweet out saying to all Manchester fans saying, if you've got a ticket, go.
Yeah, and you were like, it's a great event, regardless of if your team's there or not. Like, there's blocks for every single team of the Elite League to go and watch.
And there's 4 games.
And there's 4 games to watch, and one of them's an absolute piss take of a game, the 3rd place playoff game. So, go for it. Like, go and watch it if you want. But I've had people. Let me just bring up some of the examples. By the way, I'm not in any way being like, "Oh, go and tell them how shit they are. Oh, go and insult the people that said nasty things about them." I don't care. Like, most of the stuff that they wrote, I found quite funny, because like they clearly didn't understand what I was going for. So
you just kept sending me screenshots of angry Steelers fans.
I've managed to trigger like 5 Steelers fans today.
You really have. You really have.
It's been quite funny. So we had one that was like, this is one of the more like tame ones. "Oh, come on, like him or not, bracket, I don't. This was amusing." Like, yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah. The next one, "Oh, come on now. If it was the other way around, something similar would have been posted on the Storm account and everyone would have found it hilarious. They've had plenty of digs at us this season." And then what did I respond? I responded, I just thought it was a little bit too much, you know? Like, there's banter and then there's being a sore winner. And that's kind of the thing that I said quite a lot throughout all of this. Like, there's a difference between going, "Oh, let's have a joke between another team. Oh, this is really funny," and going, "Haha, you lost. Sell your tickets." Like, there's a difference. It's context.
I can understand why. Obviously, they want as many of their fans as possible, but
Yeah.
if you're that bothered about going, you should have booked your tickets earlier, shouldn't you?
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, you pretty much knew Sheffield were going through, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's like a similar
Considering your
way of.
team's owner like runs the league, like
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a similar way of saying, right, no Edinburgh fans are allowed at finals weekend, no
because you ain't
Dundee
got hope in
fans are
hell.
allowed. Yeah, but you can't just say, well,
No,
you can't come.
no, or just like, oh, you may as well sell your tickets now. Well, no, I think that's up to the people that actually bought the tickets and got there quick enough. Like,
Yeah.
and then I had another one. Jesus Christ. Oh, this was from a Belfast fan, I might add. I just want to have that little extra bit there. Jesus Christ. Sure, we'll all sit on our hands and not speak. Nothing wrong with this at all. Bit of light-hearted banter. Maybe start following golf. And then like a, face. So I said, I mean, sit on your hands if you want, but you'll lose all feeling in them after a while. And I get that it's a joke and it's a bit of a laugh, but I think, and I think this is an important point. But I think an official Twitter for a team saying something like this is a little bit petty. Like, I mean, if it was Sims's actual Twitter account, fine. Like, he's allowed to have that opinion. I'm not saying his opinion's wrong. Like, I get that he was trying to make it a joke, but it wasn't actually funny. Like, I'm all up for somebody having a joke, but it's got to be funny. Like, the only people that were laughing were Sheffield fans going, "Oh, Manchester didn't get through. Oh, they've took the piss out of us all year. Oh, yeah, look at them now." Like, but their Twitter account does that to every single other team in the league. Like, but loads of people are like, "Oh, but Manchester have done that to us all year." I would probably bet money on the fact that Sheffield probably started it.
Probably, yeah.
And I'm not hating on the Sheffield Steelers. As I said in some of my responses, like, I like the Sheffield Steelers organisation. It's just the person that runs their Twitter. Like,
Yeah.
he's petty and just throwing salt in a wound where it's not necessary. Maybe that's me being a bit of an SJW going, "Oh, you can't upset other people." I don't think it is. I think it's more just like, don't be a dick. Like,
I'm all for the teams having a little bit of a laugh with each other.
Exactly.
They do it in I don't know if anybody, well, I know you don't, but anybody in the chat follows Formula One. The teams often have, I mean, okay, not the big teams, your Mercedes and your Ferraris, because they've got so much riding on every single race because there's millions of pounds in it and all the rest of it. But your midfield teams like Force India and Toro Rosso and McLaren and stuff, they just have a laugh with each other on Twitter.
yeah, it's like if every person is involved in the banter, that's fine. Like, if it's like friends ribbing each other, but you know they don't mean it, like, that's fine. But I don't think that was that kind of tweet.
No.
Like,
No, I think it was to me, I read it as a joke at them because they didn't make the final.
yeah, oh yeah,
finals
it was a complete
weekend.
jab at them that they didn't make the final, without a doubt. So I would say,
It's the same sort of jabs that Panthers get for not having a webcast.
yeah, I mean, but I think they're more justified because they should have a webcast.
Well, yeah, but we're not
it's
going
the
into that
21st
because
century.
we'll rant for a quarter of an hour again.
Yeah. So, that was that. So, if anybody wants to go and read some of those tweets that I threw out there, if anybody wants
They
to
are
go and
very
read some of the
good.
tweets that people have thrown back at me, like, don't give them hate. That's not fair. But you can go and read them and have a little laugh, whether you're on their side or mine. I don't care. You can have whatever viewpoint you want. At Oddman Rush White, it's down there. It's right down there. Look at that. Ooh.
Yeah, I put it there for you.
Isn't that nice? See the things he does for me. So now the brackets for the playoff final weekend. So Chris and I are going to decide.
Hang on, let me get another bit of paper. Hang on,
fine.
right.
I'm just going to talk through it.
Yeah.
So we're going to decide.
It's Cardiff Fife.
Oh, yeah, we're going to decide our winners of the semi-final games, the third place game, and the actual playoff finals.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, go on. You do yours while I'm writing.
Right. So it's Cardiff versus Fife.
Yeah, at 1 o'clock on Saturday.
Is it 1 o'clock? Jesus.
Yep.
Cardiff. Why is it at 1 o'clock?
Because one's at 1 o'clock and one's at 5 o'clock. Because they play both semi-finals in the same day and they've got to redo the
I know they
ice
play
and
both
stuff.
semi-finals in the same day, but surely they'd make it like 3 and 7.
No, they make more of a day of it, really.
Okay, fair enough. So Yeah, give any forfeit suggestions in the chat. Chris needs one already.
Yeah, whatever. Can I just say, we can't. What we're not doing is spending our money buying like a Sheffield shirt and wearing it.
Oh yeah, no, it's got to be proper low key. I'm a student, so I don't have any money, and he's him, so. So, anyway, right. So Cardiff and Fife. I honestly have no idea what to think about this one because my head says go for the Cardiff Devils because they're probably most likely to get through. But part of me, like, there's that little nagging thought in the back of my head, like, maybe Fife could do it. Maybe they can actually do this and go through. I don't know. I really don't know with this one. I don't know with either of them, to be honest. Like, I think both of these could go either way. But if I had to make a choice, I'm going to go Cardiff.
Well, I'm going to go Cardiff because that's what I had originally when I first did the bracket because, of course, I got that half correct.
Yeah, fair point.
So I'm going to stick with Cardiff because it seems pointless me changing it.
And I'm going to stick with Cardiff because I said they were potentially going to win the playoffs last week. So I'll stick with Cardiff as well.
Yeah, you did, yeah. And now it's the Nottingham-Sheffield game.
Right. So... this is going to be a tough one. To be honest, at the end of the day, as a Nottingham/Sheffield fan, I wouldn't mind which team got through. Like, I'd be more happy with Nottingham going through, but if Sheffield went through, I wouldn't cry about it. I know probably most Nottingham fans would, but I wouldn't. And then there'd definitely be a tweet from the Steelers like, oh, we won Nottingham, way, fuck you. But if I had to choose one, I don't know. What do you think?
My heart obviously says Nottingham. And I would love Nottingham to do it and give Corey and Clarkey the perfect send-off by winning the whole thing.
Yeah. That sigh.
My head, though, says Sheffield.
Yeah. It's a head versus heart thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
I think what we should do is one of us goes one way and the other goes the other. Just to keep it interesting. Shall we flip a coin?
Well, why don't... Okay, well, I mean, your side has changed, but if you go Sheffield, then you get the same final as you said originally.
Okay.
Which is Cardiff-Sheffield, and then I would have Cardiff-Nottingham.
But you just want Nottingham because you lost with Belfast.
No, literally, that is... Look, you had Cardiff-Sheffield the first time.
I did. No, you're absolutely right. I did have Cardiff-Sheffield.
So, I mean, you could stick with that.
Oh, I don't know. Guys in the chat, what are you thinking? Which way should we go? I think we should give them a chance to throw their hat in the ring as well.
Yeah, okay. Can I put something in that I think whoever loses the Nottingham-Sheffield game will take third place over Fife?
Oh, well, I mean, does anybody really care who takes third?
You said you were going to predict the third place.
It will be like 2011... the scoreline. It'll be the backup goalies. I was talking to Max, Hotshot, in the chat. If you're still there, what's up, bud? I was talking to him during the second intermission, and he basically said it's an all-star game essentially. Like, nobody actually cares about it. Like, it doesn't mean anything. So
they should so have an all-star game in the Elite League.
Yeah, we also talked about that as well, but then again, it would just be, like, basically every single player. It would basically be all the players from Cardiff, Belfast.
Okay, what about this then?
I wouldn't mind. I'm just saying, I wouldn't mind an all-star game. I'd watch it.
What about, instead of an all-star game, a similar thing like Soccer Aid, Brits versus imports?
That would be cool. I like that. That's a good idea. And then we get our ass handed to us and be like, we need imports in the EIHL. Let's have... I've just seen one of the comments from Max. That's brilliant. Sheffield, because they'll run Galbraith.
Yeah.
So, a few people are saying that you should pick Sheffield, Chris.
Yeah, I mean... If you want to go Nottingham, go Nottingham. I mean, I'm not going to throw a tantrum about this. It in a sense, a bit of fun. So I'm happy to go Sheffield.
You know what? No. I will go Sheffield. I will stick to my original bracket.
Right.
You're right. I just needed some time to think about it. I think it's only fair that I stick to my original bracket and go Cardiff Sheffield in the final and Cardiff taking the victory.
And Cardiff taking it. Okay.
And you're going to go Cardiff Nottingham, and you're going to go Nottingham to win it. Go on, just say it. Just say it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Why not?
Good. There you go.
Why not? Because I really, to be honest,
it would be a brilliant send-off. And now, with Chris's bracket, I'd absolutely love that. I'd love to see Nottingham win it.
Part of me was, I mean, and it was a small part, but part of me was a little bit disappointed that Nottingham won against Belfast because now Clarkey and Corey, their final game is like not a Panthers game, it's an Elite League game. So like the stadium isn't full of Panthers fans sending them off.
Yeah.
It's, you know, a bit of everybody.
Yeah, it's a collection of different fans. However, I think like with a guy like David Clark, definitely like he'll get his heroes send off.
Oh, he will.
Like around the league, because like some of course some people will be like, oh, I don't like him because of this hit in 2000 and whatever, or this cross check in whenever. But like I think most people
you've got to appreciate best, you know, highest points, most games.
He's set the new record for points in the Elite Ice Hockey League, and he went off and played a year abroad, like, and then he came back and still did it. Like,
do you want to bother about the third place or not?
The third place. So the third place for me would be Nottingham Fife. I'm going to go Nottingham. 5. Why not?
All right.
And yours would be Sheffield 5.
And I'll go Sheffield.
Well, there you go. Sorry, Fife, you're coming fourth place. You did good, but you're coming fourth.
There we go. Cool.
So you're having, yours is Fife fourth, Sheffield third, Cardiff second, Nottingham first.
Yep, and yours is Fife fourth, Nottingham third, Sheffield second, Cardiff first.
Damn right, son. So
Clark and Corey into the British Ice Hockey Hall of Fame.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Definitely Clark.
Yeah.
Like, if he doesn't make it into the bloody British Hockey Hall of Fame, I don't know who does.
Yeah, no one does if he doesn't.
Exactly.
He's having his shirt retired as well, isn't he?
Yes, yeah, that's going up in the rafters at the start of next season.
Which means they need another new banner.
I need a signed card from him so bad. Give one to me.
Nobody wants to.
I know, but that's not the point. So before we just start the more like chilled out part, looking at the chat more often, if you have enjoyed this stream, do let us know. We're thinking about doing a live stream during the playoff semi-finals and final next weekend. We're not entirely sure. Like, we're definitely just wanting to see like the interest from you guys. Like, we wouldn't be able to show it. Like, you'd have to watch it yourselves and stick us on.
We can't show it. We can't describe it as this happening because that's radio. We can't.
We can't do the play-by-play, but we can have a chat about it as we go along. Essentially.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, we can't say, oh, now there's 10:04 to go, and Sheffield have just had a shot and it's saved. But we can just kind of generally chat hockey and go, oh, they've scored. That's nice.
Yeah. Exactly. Ooh. Like we could do something like that.
Oh, odd man, look at the chat.
Oh my lord! I need one. Give me one now. I need it in my life. I need it. Tried to become a sponsor on that link and it gave me an error. I don't know what. Andy! Gah! Why is it a problem? Chris, why is it a problem?
I don't know, it might be their server error or I don't know, it could be a card, I don't know.
So yeah, so we'll just chat this out there. If you guys are enjoying the stream and you haven't done so already, please feel free.
Andy, if it's sent to try later, it's probably their problem, so just leave it a bit.
So yeah, if you are enjoying the stream, guys, and you haven't done so already, please do feel free to hit that subscribe button. We're getting close to 1,700 subscribers. Whew! We're getting a lot here, folks.
That's all my influence, evidently.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Also, follow me on Twitter. Follow Chris on Twitter. The stuff's down there. Yeah. Like, I'm quite happy to have more followers. And I think Chris is as well. He's coming up to the big 100. So get him 100 followers, folks.
I'm 3 short.
And he's actually he actually writes some really good little articles every once in a while. So definitely take a look at them if you get the chance. He talks about
I'm
me.
trying to do it a bit more regularly.
I like it. It's good. I read them and I thoroughly enjoy them.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, also, if you want to use Super Chat, the option should be there. It's basically like donating to the channel. If you want to sponsor, I've put a link again in the chat to where it is. There should be a green button there. Give it a go if you want to. You don't have to. None of this stuff, you don't have to. But if you want to, go ahead. Yeah, I just want to get these custom emojis and see what they're like. Yeah. At this point, it's not even about getting the £5 a month. It's like, I want to see these custom emojis. What are they like? Yeah. What can we talk about now?
Great Britain, the under-18s and the women.
Yes. Oh, yeah, we've got other pieces of news, don't we? Other pieces of hockey news.
Yes. We'll finish domestic before we go national.
Yeah. So, one thing I noticed, the Manchester Storm forward, Luke Moffat, I believe he's the captain of the team as well, announced that he was planning to retire at the end of this season. However, he said that he wants another year in the league with the Manchester Storm. So he has signed for next season with the Manchester Storm. The 25-year-old, from wherever, he's become a fan favourite for Ryan Finnerty's side in what was a successful campaign. Moffat is already looking forward to donning the Storm kit again next season, just a day after they missed out on the playoff finals weekend. So I think that's really good. Like, he played 60 games and got, what, 81 points? Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Bring him back on. He signed from a French team to Manchester last year, and he wants to come back and play. So I don't know a huge amount about him other than the fact that he was really high up the point totals this season. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I mean, he doesn't play for any of my favourite teams, but it's nice to see a guy that's had some real good success. He's thought, you know what, I can hold off on retirement for another year. He's only 25. Like, he's technically about to hit the prime of his career. So like the fact that he's considering retirement is a bit weird for somebody like for somebody like me who's so into the NHL, where it's like recently the Sedin twins have announced their retirement at 37, you know, and of course completely different players, completely different leagues, completely different situations. But yeah, I think Moffat. Yeah, I'm glad that he's back.
Yeah, no,
thanks for that, Chris.
It'll be a good one for the league. Hopefully he can keep scoring goals, top goal scorer, and get Manchester up there again, because I'd like to see Manchester at a finals weekend. They were unlucky this time around.
I think Manchester, they deserve one now. Like, they need to put in the work, they need to put in the effort, but they've had a couple of seasons down at the bottom of the league. They got second in the league this year. Like, they're due. They're so due now.
Yeah. Interesting. Max says that he spoke to Moffat after the game on Sunday, and the reason he's considering retirement is due to having offers outside of hockey.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So...
Well, fair play. What offers would they be then?
Interesting one. Oh, probably some high-paid job.
Fair play. Yes. Sorry. Hot shot, Max. Sup? I've got a video on that coming out tonight. I may as well just have a quick say. I've got 2 videos coming out tonight, just in case you're interested. I've got my vlog of my adventure to the National Ice Centre on Sunday. It's a short one. Like I really
don't feature in this one.
No, you don't, unfortunately. Sorry.
It's alright. I featured in the last one. Exactly. That's where I got my profile picture from.
There you go. You're welcome. See, I'm a trendsetter. I'm a maverick. I'm like Jake Paul. So thanks for what? Why am I saying thanks? Shut up, Chris.
I don't know.
So I've got that vlog coming out. It's about a 5-minute vlog. Yeah, I mean, watch it if you want to. See my little adventure. It's nothing too crazy, but it's quite nice. Tried to get in a bit of the cheeky odd man rush humour in there, like I always do. And I've also got an NHL news video about the Sedin twins retiring at the end of this season, which is quite sad, actually. Like, one interesting stat that I mentioned in the video, the only brothers and twins in NHL history to both reach the 1,000 point milestone.
Oh, Moffat's just finished a business masters at university.
Ah, well that makes sense then. Right, okay. So he obviously.
I know a lot of the players are doing degrees while they're playing.
I don't blame them. Like, I mean, if they can
No,
play
I
hockey,
don't.
go to practice, and still do a masters or something like that's pretty impressive. I would give them that. Most uni students can't even do a masters by themselves. Like, fair play.
Yeah. I was going to make a comment then, but I elected not to do a masters.
No, that's fair play. No, I mean like people actually doing masters. Like,
Oh right. Yeah.
I'm not trying to upset you, Chris. I'm sorry.
No,
You're gonna
that's
get
right.
triggered and start tweeting me, are you?
No.
Good. That's what I
Um,
like to hear.
There was another one. What was the other piece of news
Oh
we were
yeah,
going to do?
the other piece of news. Let me find it. It
I
was
was going to say
something
you.
relatively important, I like to think. Oh yes. Coventry Blaze head coach Danny Stewart reckons retiring forward Ryan Dingle will be a big miss in UK ice hockey. The 33-year-old has announced his retirement at the conclusion of the Blazers playoff campaign, which was like Sunday.
Last night, Sunday night.
But Stewart paid tribute to a man he's got to know well from their time together at the Fife Flyers and the Coventry Blaze. Quote from Stewart: "I've had the pleasure of both playing with and coaching Dings." What a nickname. "The best way to describe him is professional when he comes to work every day. Ryan enjoys his hockey, takes nothing for granted and does it with a whole lot of energy. He's a chip off the old block, someone that buys into an organisation and plays for the logo on the front. He's a heck of a player, and not only will he be a big loss to the Coventry Blaze," well, I mean, they lost, so it doesn't really matter, "but I feel a big loss to the British game and ice hockey in general. I wish him, Sophie, and the boys the best of luck in the future. We will do our best as a group to get him another week of playing this Sunday." Yeah. Dingle first arrived in the UK from Cortina in Italy, joining the Fife Flyers in 2015, where he picked up 120 points in 110 games in 2 years in Kirkcaldy. Bless me. He joined Coventry last summer. Oh, wait. Nope, we're good. And has 57 appearances so far this season, and scored 25 times and assisted in a further 32. And he was named, the American, Dingle, was named the club's player of the year. And, yeah, he's calling it a day, the 33-year-old, after playing with the Fife Flyers and the Coventry Blaze. So, yeah.
And so my mind wandered to the chat about the next piece of news.
Oh, are we talking about Nottingham Panthers news?
Yeah.
So a follow-up on last podcast.
I don't think there's anything to follow up, is there?
You know how there was a prediction, like we did our predictions on, oh, what's this going to be about? Chris predicted that it'd be about the sponsorship. We kind of both came to the conclusion that we'd like it to be something really interesting, but we figured it would be something to do with the sponsorships. But lo and behold, it was something to do with the sponsorships. They made a massive video and loads of hype around a sponsorship deal. So let me just find this. I put up a poll on the official Nottingham Panthers response, because I don't run an official Twitter of a team. I can be as petty as I want. And
yeah, two-thirds of the Panthers fans decided that it actually wasn't big news and they didn't care. But basically, the fans don't like the fact that it's the GMB Nottingham Panthers, because no one calls them the GMB Nottingham Panthers, they call them the Nottingham Panthers.
Yep.
So now the new sponsor is the Nottingham Building Society, and because the Nottingham is practically the first two words, and for people there, the Nottingham is like short for the Nottingham Building Society, they're just incorporating it, and we're now just going to be called the Nottingham Panthers.
So I put up a poll on this saying, does anyone actually care about this news? So I think I was quite clear on my opinion of it. Put up a poll, lasted for a day, 248 votes. I was quite impressed with the turnout.
Yeah.
65% said no.
Yeah.
2/3 of the people that voted and saw that poll didn't
not
think
care.
that piece of information was worthy of the hype that was surrounding it. It's great news, as I said in some of the responses, and I think to Allington, if he's still here, it's great news. Like, brilliant. They've got a decent sponsor, and I believe they've signed one of the biggest sponsor deals they've ever signed with the Nottingham Building Society. It doesn't warrant a massive hype video a week before.
Total Carnage, he says, you know how we get welcome to the ice as the GMB Nottingham Panthers? Is he going to say welcome to the ice Nottingham Building Society Nottingham Panthers? No, it's just the Nottingham Panthers.
That would be really funny, just to troll the Nottingham Panthers, though. And like have it written on the
that was another
jerseys,
thing.
like the Nottingham Building Society, Nottingham Panthers.
You know, midway through the third period on Sunday night when the DJ just went, and here are the other scores, this is who we're going to play. I'm not sure Corey, with the game so close, wanted them to know with 10 minutes to go in the third period they'd be playing Sheffield.
Yeah, fair point.
I can imagine
at that
he probably
point,
wasn't.
the aggregate was tied.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure he would have wanted them to focus on that rather than, we'll have Sheffield in the semi-finals, guys.
Yeah, I mean, but in fairness, it worked out.
Yeah,
Worked out
but
right.
I can't imagine he was too happy.
No, it's probably like, could you like hold off on that, maybe? Well, I mean, in fairness, Corey's not going to be there for much longer, so he can complain about it all he wants.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
The biggest sponsorship deal in Elite Ice Hockey League history, apparently. So yeah, like it's a big deal, but like it doesn't warrant a hype video the week before. I've said this like a million times. Like 2/3 of the people that voted on my poll said the exact same thing. Sure, it's a small amount for the amount of people that actually looked at that tweet, but almost 250 people out of 250 people, almost 2/3 said, "Yeah, this doesn't warrant the huge hype that you made around this."
Yeah.
Great news. Didn't need the hype.
Yeah, but let's move on because we're going to be here all night talking about this.
So the Team GB under-18s are playing at the moment. They are playing. Where are they playing?
They're not playing at the moment.
I mean, like the tournament's going.
Oh right, sorry. I thought you meant right now. They're playing in Israel. Not Israel. Where's Tallinn? I've forgotten where Tallinn is.
Are they playing in Israel?
I've forgotten where Tallinn is. I thought it was Israel.
Never really known them.
Oh, Estonia.
That makes more sense.
How do I not know that? Jono is there commentating on them for Free Sports.
Oh, I love Jono. He's so sweet.
Yeah, it's Estonia. Jono is there commentating on them because he was annoyed that he missed that game on Sunday night.
Oh, I can imagine. It was a cracker. Yes, we need Liam Kirk to get drafted.
Yes, we really do.
Liam Kirk. I will instantly make whichever team drafts them my third favourite team in the NHL. Whichever team drafts him. If it's the New York Rangers, like I'm set. I'm set for life.
Do you know what you need to do? Is you need to do in NHL 19. You need to do a season. excuse me, a season mode where you do a player lock on Liam Kirk.
He's a genius. He's a genius. Look at him. But then I'd end up scoring like 100 goals in a season because I know like how to short side snipe.
Yeah, and Liam Kirk gets to 99 overall.
Game, lose in the second round if I'm with Washington, like all the cliches.
Yeah, exactly.
Is Jordan Kelsall? Oh yeah. Can you bring up the roster for the under-18 squad?
I can give it a go. Yeah.
Are there any key guys coming up?
I'm hoping there's a team. There's no team sheet on this website. That's terrific.
Hazeldine and Kelsall, would they be playing or are they too old?
No,
I could have sworn. Sheffield Steelers fans, help me out here. I could have sworn Kieran Brown was 19. And he's playing in the under-18 tournament.
Blackburn Hawks. I'm not sure on that.
Because Liam Kirk is eligible to play in the tournament because he's 18 this year, I believe. Because you can be drafted in the NHL up until you're 20 years old, I believe. 20, 21, something like that.
I think it's 21, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think... Is it a case of... Because like the NHL, every season they add another year onto the player's age, even if they haven't had their birthday yet. Is that... And he gets drafted by Arizona. Yes, Liam... I mean, in fairness, Liam Kirk would have a chance to crack the Arizona roster from the get-go. Like, that might actually work in his favour. Because you know what Arizona does? They have lots of good young players that play relatively well for Arizona. They move to another team and end up being superstars.
Yeah.
Kieran Brown is 17. Okay, my bad. I thought he was.
Okay.
I thought he was 19. Who am I thinking? That's not. Oh, Cole Shudra. Cole Shudra's 19, isn't he? That's who I was thinking of. I think. My bad. Soz.
What do you reckon is the Great Britain's chances against Hungary and Kazakhstan and Italy and Slovakia and Poland?
Is this in
This
the?
is the senior team.
The senior team. Sorry, who were the teams again?
They are Slovenia, Italy, Kazakhstan, Poland, Hungary.
I mean, considering none of them are really like powerhouse teams, I think we have a chance. The only one that I would be... I mean, I don't know about all of their national teams at all, so I would say that the only team that I'd be somewhat scared of, based on what I've known previously, is Slovenia. The rest of them I'm kind of like... I either don't know enough about, or I'm like, yeah, we have a chance. Like, we're kind of the same sort of level, I think, internationally as them, I would argue.
Yeah.
Like, Italy's not exactly a hockey powerhouse. Hungary's not exactly a hockey powerhouse. Who else was there? Poland. Poland, maybe. Like, you're getting a bit closer. You're getting a bit warmer there. Who else?
Slovenia.
Yep, Slovenia. Yep, definitely. Yes, Slovenia and Poland, I think, are the two that would be like, whoa, we need to be careful with these guys. The rest of them are kind of like, yeah, we got a chance.
So, Great Britain's under-18s beat Australia by 9-2.
They did.
Kieran Brown, a 5-point afternoon, a hat-trick and 2 assists.
Yep.
Liam Kirk scoring twice, and Cade Nielsen, Corey's son, also scoring twice.
Oh, is Corey Nielsen's son around? I did not know that.
Yep.
There you go. The more you know, folks. Educational podcast.
I've got Jono to thank for that one.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, that's the... I think the under-18s will be fine, because they're currently undefeated in the tournament, aren't they?
Yeah.
Who else have they got to play then?
Now you're asking.
Well, yeah, I did. What are we going to do about it?
Hang on. I'm getting there.
It's alright. Don't worry, we've got time. It's only 8:30.
Right, so they played Poland.
Right.
Where am I? Yeah, they played Poland, and because they have a really bad font size, I can't see what the result was. They've decided not to put that on. That's fine.
That's fine. I just want to know who they're playing.
The reason it's not on is because that's tomorrow, and I've got my dates wrong.
I can't get the help here, folks.
Yeah, okay. So where we get all the way down. Okay, so that's the women's, juniors.
We're going to talk about the women's in a minute.
No, that was the women's juniors. That was ages ago.
Oh, right, okay.
So the under-18s, they beat Estonia 6-3 on Sunday.
Fair play.
And then they beat Australia 9-2.
Understandable.
On yesterday.
Yep.
Those are the two games.
Yep. Who are they playing for the rest of the tournament?
They have got...
Poland.
They've got Poland tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And then they've got Lithuania on Friday at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And then they've got South Korea on Saturday at 4:30.
Okay. So there's a few games there that could be like, could go either way. But I think they stand a decent chance. They stand as good a chance as any of those teams there. I don't think there's one really sticking out as the team to win it, in my opinion. Maybe Poland, but other than that, I'm not entirely sure. So, yeah, I think that's pretty good. Like, the under-18s, they've got off to a really good start, and let's hope that continues for them, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then the women's, they played today, I believe.
They did. Do you want me to start from the start? Or?
Go for it.
Okay, so the women also had a victory against Australia.
And this is the senior women, right?
Yeah, this is the senior women, yes. They had a victory against Australia by 5-1. That was last Saturday. They then beat North Korea, or the People's Republic of Korea, by
Smash the system.
by 3 goals to 1 on Sunday,
Okay.
and they beat Mexico 5-0 today.
Hey!
So they're 3 for 3.
Can I just say that I don't know if anybody's been following the GB ice hockey Twitter page. Every time, I think it might be the GB women's page. I'm not entirely sure, but it's one of those pages. They have got boomerang videos of every single player for when they score and when they bring them up in one of their tweets and live game stuff. I've had a thoroughly good time watching all of them. I think they're really funny. I want to give props to whoever's idea that was. That was brilliant, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
If you go back, the first I remember doing it were Bristol City Football Club at the start of last season. Loads of people have started to copy.
Yeah. Some of the New York Rangers do it whenever they score as well, but they don't do it like a boomerang thing. They do something. I'm just trying to find the page that actually does it. So I want to make sure I give them the proper
whilst
credit.
You're doing that, the women have got Slovakia. I can never tell because they've got the same first 3. I don't know which one it is. Hang on.
It's alright, just take your time.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think it's Team GB Ice Hockey.
Yeah, it is. That's the... Yes.
Yeah, Team... no, it's actually GB Women's Hockey are the ones that post them, and then it's...
Okay, they're playing Slovenia, the women.
Okay.
And that's on Wednesday at 8 p.m. because the Slovakia one's different. Right, okay. So they're playing Slovenia at 8 o'clock Wednesday night, tomorrow night.
Okay.
And then they're playing the Netherlands at 4:30 on Friday.
Oh, I think the Netherlands would be the biggest challenge for them, but I mean, the GB women's team have played fantastically well so far their tournament. They're 3-0, so fair play to them. Keep it going because they're in Division 2A, I believe, aren't they?
They may well be, yeah.
Because I think 2A. The under 18s are in 1B, the senior men are in 1A, and I think the women's team are in 2A.
The women are in 2A, as you said.
Nice. Nailed it. 10 out of 10.
It looks as though it's going to be the traditional thing with Great Britain, where it's going to come down to the final game because the Netherlands are also 3 for 3 so far.
Ah, well, that'll be an interesting one. Love it. So, that's all the international stuff. Is there anything else people want us to talk about? We're about 90 minutes in, so we've got about at least half an hour to just kind of have a chat about any other Elite League stuff, any other... Keep it on Elite League and British hockey stuff, preferably.
Yeah.
And NHL stuff we'll kind of hold off on for now. But
we'll cover the NHL at the start of the NHL playoffs, I would say.
Yeah, that's very true, because there's the last week of the season this week. Your beloved Maple Leafs have made it in.
Yes, I know.
And my beloved Rangers haven't.
Maple Leafs for the Cup, that's all I'm saying.
I mean, not this year. Give them 2 years, and I think you're right.
No. Maple Leafs for the Cup. It'll be... There we go.
The Maple Leafs are not winning the Cup this year. Their defence isn't good enough.
No.
I've had Tampa to win. I mean, we shouldn't be talking about this, but here's a quick summary.
We'll keep it.
I've had Tampa to win all year, but Boston, I think Boston could do it now. Or Vegas. I want Vegas to win. I think it'd be great.
Okay, so Max says worst logo in the NHL. EIHL.
Keep it on task, Chris. Oh my god. Worst logo in the EIHL.
He did say EIHL.
The worst logo.
Dundee, because it's literally just their name. It literally just says Dundee.
That. I quite like that because I think it's better than the other one that they had, which is like a little star on top and it said Dundee Stars. What
about the Milton Keynes Lightning? Because that does not really kind of anything.
I love the Milton Keynes Lightning logo. That is a solid logo. You leave that logo alone. That is wonderful. I'm not even kidding. That's a great logo.
All right, what about Guildford? Because that's just a G with... I'm just going to go through them and see what his opinion is, guys.
Guildford Flames, I like it because it's very much like the Calgary Flames. I think it works for them.
Yeah.
It works because it's a G. Because it's one of those sort of letters, it works for them.
A lot of people are saying Coventry.
Yeah. I don't think Coventry's one really makes much sense. I get that it's like some sort of demon coming out of the fire or something or whatever, but yeah, I think the Brayhead clan one is pretty crap. I've got to be honest. I'm not a fan of Brayheads. I think the 8 on the screen already, I quite like all of them.
Yeah.
In terms of, well, which other teams are there? I quite like Edinburgh's logo. I think that works quite nicely for them. I don't know. The worst logo?
I like the logo, but where you can tell what the team name is from the logo. So, like Cardiff, you can tell it's a devil.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I go over to the NHL, Pittsburgh, you can tell it's a penguin.
Can you?
Tampa Bay,
They're
you can
penguins? Carry on.
Tampa Bay, you can tell that it's a lightning bolt.
Yep.
You know, that sort of thing. And which logos don't really tell you what it is?
The Coventry Blaze.
There you go. Which apparently is a dragon. It's not a.
Well, I mean, I couldn't tell that from their logo, so I think that's their problem. I don't know. Like, what else? Because I like the 8 that's on the screen at the moment. So the ones that aren't in there, I think Brayheads is the worst. Yeah, I thinking of the other 4 that aren't on there. I mean, the Manchester Storm isn't that fantastic, in fairness. Like, the Manchester Storm one could be better. I think if we're having a bracket for the worst Elite League logo, it'd have to be Manchester or Brayhead in the final.
Have you seen the YouTube video where 2 Americans rank them?
Yeah, that's what is that? Is that Post to Post?
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah. Shout out to them, giving you free advertisement. There you go. You're welcome. I probably got your name wrong, but there you go. But I'm going to put it out there. Whoever doesn't like the Milton Keynes Lightning logo, I think you're wrong. You're allowed to think that it's bad, but just know that I think you're wrong. I think that logo on their jersey, I really like their jerseys. Their home jersey is fresh as fuck. Like, I really like it. I'm just putting it out there.
You didn't like the Panthers away one, did you?
Did I not?
The playoff one.
Oh yeah, no. These predictor bet jerseys have been ugly. Like, oh no, all of them have looked quite crap if I'm honest. But I mean,
you're not
Milton
going to
Keynes
join in the auction.
didn't
then.
make the playoffs. Had a nice jersey. Coincidence? I think not.
I reckon someone should come out in like bright pink and just dazzle the opposition and score loads of goals.
I think, yeah, I don't like how many different jersey variations teams have. This is okay. This is a slight divergent, or a slight thing away from what we're actually talking about. So you know how like they have Valentine's Day. We're gonna wear these jerseys on Valentine's Day. And it's it's suit night, and all of the jerseys look like they're wearing suits. And it's Easter. I don't know.
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas. Let's play in our Christmas jerseys. Am I the
And
only
then
one that
auction them
hates
off
that
for
stuff?
more money. Well, they auction it off for more money and give some of it to charity, don't they?
Yeah, like I don't like it. Because I've grown up watching the NHL where they have the home jersey, the away jersey, and the alternate
And
jersey.
no sponsors.
That's all I need. That's all I need.
Max says, has anyone else noticed PredictorBet doesn't have an active website? He thinks it's a bit dodgy.
They do
not
have a website, but all it says on there at the moment is, our app is coming soon. You would have think they would have had it sorted out for playoff final weekend.
You'd think so, yeah.
I
Because
think
you'd think they'd want to do a lot of betting on finals weekend.
Exactly. I'm not going to, because I think it's going to be far too close to know.
I'm not allowed.
You're not allowed. And,
I'm not allowed to bet in case somehow my commentary for the Nottingham Lions in the EIHL is involved in match fixing of playoff final weekend.
Whereas I'm a YouTuber, so I can do what I want.
Yeah, in a sense.
Yeah, you know. Well, I mean, I'll just get demonetized if not. Yeah, is there anything else people talk to us?
Yeah.
So we had the worst logo. There was something else there hidden in the comments.
It was expansion. We talked about that last week.
Oh yeah, expansion. What did we say last week?
we said we needed to wait to see how Guildford and MK could sustain themselves first.
Very true. Yep, I agree. See, we just talk such sense, you know? Like, we're geniuses.
If you want to know our thoughts, watch last week's podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the timestamp for it, but just watch it all over again.
It was near the end. It was near the end.
Best logo. I know that's a good question. Best logo. I think that's a more difficult one to answer. Best logo. So let's try and take away the logos that we know definitely aren't the best. Brayhead.
No Brayhead, no Coventry, no Manchester.
Coventry, no
with
Manchester.
the three we taken out.
Yep, definitely.
I
don't think Fife's is the best.
No.
I'm putting that out there.
I like the simple logos. So I think in like Sheffield and Belfast, there's too much going on.
Yeah, okay. I don't think Guildford's is the best because it's not original enough.
I think Cardiff's is.
I think Cardiff's is quite nice. I like Nottingham's, but I'm not sure I like it enough for best logo.
Yeah, I mean, I get what they're trying to do with it, trying to, break through the jersey.
Yeah.
But I think they could do something more like, like the old Florida Panthers one where it was like jumping.
Yeah, that's very true.
Something
Before they turned it into a soccer
maybe.
logo. I actually quite like their new logo. I've got to admit, I think it looks quite nice.
What, the Panthers one?
The Florida Panthers one. Yeah, it's grown on me.
Oh right, yeah, the Florida Panthers one, yeah.
I don't know. I've never really sat there and thought about which one I think is the best.
No, I think Cardiff.
I do think Cardiff's is quite nice.
Well, I guess we've gone Cardiff, guys.
Yeah, I think we've gone Cardiff.
Yeah,
okay. I think in our bracket for the best EIHL logo, I think I would probably have Cardiff and Nottingham in the final, maybe. Or MK.
Yeah, probably.
I quite like Milton Keynes.
Yeah. Oh, chat's going up now. Right. Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Right. Jacob says the Nickerson ban. He made a video all on that.
Yeah, I think it was like 10 minutes long. So go watch that.
Max
Watch it a million times if you want. Get me the views.
Yeah. Max says, can you see the league doing anything to reduce the amounts of fights and again discussed last week?
Yeah, purge all of the goons. That's what I'd do.
If you go back and listen to that again last week, we had Elliot Perrin, the Lions captain, in, and he was quite passionate about keeping them.
Now, I said keep the enforcers, ditch the goons, which we've kind of done quite a lot.
Jacob, he missed what the Panthers news was last week. What was it? It was a new sponsor and no one cares, is the summary of that.
2/3 of people didn't care, in fact.
Yeah. How to improve the league? Less imports, stronger Brits.
That is literally what I was about to say. Less imports.
Less imports, stronger Brits.
And that's not to be like, oh, those bloody foreigners coming over here playing good hockey. Like, we're not the hockey version of UKIP here, folks. It's more sort of like, if we want the British game to grow in popularity and grow in its stature and its ability to compete with other leagues and other countries in the world, there needs to be a better British foundation. And like, that's, as I said earlier, that's one of the reasons why I really like one of the reasons I really like what the Sheffield Steelers have done. Like, they've helped grow the young, like, they've got a guy through their system that could be drafted in the NHL. Like, that's not something that's happened very often. Like, the last person that was drafted was Tony Hand, and that was bloody years ago. And he never actually made it into an NHL game. I don't think he made it into a preseason game either, which is not knocking his talent as a hockey player. Like, he's a legend of the British game. But we have the potential for a British player who's come through the Sheffield system. I believe did he play with the Steel Dogs before he joined the Steelers?
Yeah, he went through the
So yeah, like, they've got a team in the city where they have the Steelers that like, I think that it would be so much better. Like, I think we're starting to see that. I think we've had the point where there's been a lot of development in a lot of British talent, and we're now seeing the results internationally. Like, we're in Division 1A. We're one division away from the top hockey teams in the world. Like, we're not that far off.
if we win in a couple of weeks' time, this time next year we're playing Canada and America, and
Exactly.
Allington says more imports, no import limit, get rid of the Brits. He doesn't care about the national teams. He wants to see better hockey, and he's not getting that by watching Lacko and Betteridge.
You leave Lakovic and Betteridge alone, Sonny Jim. You know why?
Yeah, especially with former Lions.
No, that's not. Well, that's for you. But you know why? Because they're not goal scorers. Like, one thing, I'm not saying you've said this at all, Allington, but the one criticism I have of hockey fans, like, oh, that guy doesn't score a load of goals, get him off the team. That's not his job on the team. You have the goal scorers on the team, you have the penalty killers on the team, you have the strong two-way players on the team, you have the strong forecheckers on the team, you have the good defensively minded players, you have the good offensively minded players. Like, bringing in loads of goal-scoring imports won't make the game better. I'm going to put that out there right now. That's my opinion. Like, you're allowed to disagree, of course. That's what we do here. We disagree with each other and we argue. That's the fun of it. I honestly don't think that if you got rid of all the British players and gone, we need better imports than these British players, that the actual overall talent pool of the Elite League will be better. I think it will be the same, if not worse.
Yeah, I want to see a strong national side and strong Brits in the Elite League, so I think maybe just lower the import by one next season, maybe another one the season after that. Just, do it gradually and keep the strong Brits coming through and the youngsters coming through.
I like the fact that we get imports in the league. I like the fact that there's a balance. Like, you have to have British players and you have to have import players. It's essentially, you could make comparisons like it's our version of a salary cap. To go,
yeah.
you can't spend more than this. Like, you can't have more than this amount of import highly talented AHL, ECHL, SHL players. Like, it's kind of like a player salary cap as opposed to a contract salary cap. Like, contracts and stuff and actual, like, pay for teams is all over the place at the moment. We know it is. That's one of the problems, I think, in the league. I'd love to get to the point where every team in the league was financially stable enough that we could bring in something like a salary cap. And then we could get rid of the import ban, perhaps. Because then there might be the incentive that, British players might sign for less than some of these imports, so that's how they find their way onto these rosters, perhaps. However, that's a talk for a completely another day, I think. However, I don't think that the standard of hockey would get better if we didn't have any British players in the Elite Ice Hockey League. My question would be, if we got rid of all of these British players, where would they go? They'd go overseas. They'd find contracts, you could argue, in better leagues than the Elite Ice Hockey League. Some of them, definitely. Not all of them, obviously. But I think Ben Bounds would definitely find a contract in the ECHL or the AHL, without a doubt. Like, he's an all-star in the EIHL, I would argue. Who else? I'm trying to think of who have been some of the other top players this season. Like, they'll find contracts in other places. Like, I just don't think you're. As I said, you're welcome to disagree with me. You're absolutely welcome to disagree with me. Allington, you've made a big point about Betteridge not being a good player or not being as good as some of these imports. He's 21, right? Like, he's got plenty of time to sort himself out. Like, I think there's a problem between getting a 30-year-old veteran who knows how to play the game and bring them in for the sake of, you need to do this role. And some people might not like the fact that you bring in a 21-year-old guy who's still learning how to play. Like, he's no way near the prime of his career yet. He's got plenty of time before he hits that point. But some people, I'm not saying you are, Allington, of course, but some people want instant results from players. I think imports have less of a leash than British players. And I think that gives British players a chance to develop more. Like, some of the David Clarks and the Ben Bounds, like, they've established themselves as these dominant players in the league, so therefore the expectations for them are very high. But a guy like Ollie Betteridge, he hasn't come out, or a Robert Farmer, like, they haven't come out and gone a point per game for an entire season. They haven't gone out and scorched the league and set it ablaze, set it a Coventry blaze with all of their goals.
That was terrible.
And stuff. Thank you. I'm here all stream. But I think the championship teams, it's not a case of imports, but the championship teams know that in order to win, you need players that fill every single one of the roles that you have for your team. You need goal scorers, of course you do. You need a bigger, more physical guy to, or a couple of guys to sort of lay the body checks in it and say, you're not going to get into our heads. If you want to try something, we will drop the gloves and we will go at it. Like, that's fine. But you also need the guys that are solid penalty killers. And I would argue that Lakovic and Betteridge are two of the best penalty killers in Britain. Not in terms of imports, but as British players. Like, and I can understand why people would be like, oh yeah, but I think other imports are better. That's fine. Like, you're probably right. But as somebody that wants to see the British game grow as quick as possible, I think you've got to keep growing the British game. Like, could you imagine if Liam Kirk was drafted into the NHL? He's a boy from Sheffield, for God's sake, and there could be the potential that he goes and plays for an NHL team in front of an NHL crowd and scores a goal in his NHL debut. Like, how fantastic would that be for British hockey? Like, the Hockey News have written articles about our league and about Liam Kirk because there's been such a good job of developing his talent in the Hockey League. NHL scouts have gone to Sheffield games. Like, if you'd said that 5 years ago, people would have been like, no, you're mad. You're mad. Like, you're absolutely ridiculous. That's not the case. It's not the case. I think you've got to grow British hockey. I personally want to see British hockey grow as big as possible. It has the potential to be something really big. Not a Canada or America or anything like that, but it has the potential to be something really successful. So to stop that now and just cut out all of the British players and only focus on imports, I think would be self-destructive to our league. There you go.
Well, thank you for that.
I've got to have one sort of monologue every stream, right?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with, pretty much what you were saying.
Thank you.
You can't... Getting rid of the Brits isn't going to achieve anything because the teams still can't afford to buy the imports.
Yeah, I want to get the person right. Somebody suggested putting a salary cap on imports. Which I think is an interesting idea. However, I don't think it would benefit the league because then one of the ways we're going to get noticed more as a league is if we bring in big names. And I think if we put a salary cap on those imports, then we're not going to get as many big names because they'll go somewhere else where they can get paid more.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I mean, it's one to kind of think over and come back to next week, I think.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential in terms of what can be done. Say if it's a salary cap for the entire league, a salary cap for imports, a salary cap for British players, all that stuff. Like, that's stuff that can be looked at like the next 5-10 years, provided everything goes right. You know? Like, I don't think the British game is in a rush to cap any salaries whatsoever. We're at the point where we're trying to get big names into the league and trying to develop our own hockey talent, which I think is working out relatively well. Like, we're in Division 1A with our British team. Like, all of the players on the British team are solid players in the league. Like, they're not AHL stars, they're not NHL players, they're not the best in Europe. No, nobody's saying that. But as a team, they work really well. You know?
Yeah, no, I do. And I think I can remember sneakily listening through headphones in school classes to, the World Championship games and that sort of stuff. I think I only did that in tech once, but yeah, it was, it's great, and I really hope that we can continue to go forward.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. So Allington just said this is the last point we'll make on this, and we'll see if there are any other questions, because I want to make sure we answer more stuff. There is a loose salary cap in the Elite Ice Hockey League, apparently. I would say then there's no salary cap at all then. Like, a loose salary cap is not a salary cap. It's just, try not to spend more than this or you'll get a bit of luxury tax. Like, teams are going to spend over it if they have the opportunity. Some teams won't make it. Like, a salary cap is you cannot spend over this much money, or you'll have some sort of penalty that isn't, a 20% luxury tax. No, a salary cap is you spend more than this and you can't ice a certain amount of players, or you lose a draft pick, or you lose da-da-da-da-da, like the NHL. Whilst it is a salary cap, it's not a real salary cap, in my opinion. So anyway, let's any other questions, stuff. Oh, I feel like I need to burp. It's all this Pepsi Max.
I think Jacob was saying, yes, I've lost it again now. He wants to know our thoughts on the best player from each team this season, but I think we'll cover that after the finals weekend, because someone might have an 8-goal game or something stupid. And
okay. I think, we'll leave that till next year, sort of. Not next year, next week, as like the.
I'll tell you what, Jacob. I'll write it down so we don't forget.
Yeah, if there's any good questions that we need for next week, write them down. Because we'll have a post-playoff podcast next week, I think. If we're not doing the, even if we are doing the finals and stuff, we'll do a post-playoff podcast. Why not? So any more questions? Bring them in, folks.
We should be back on Sunday for the finals, so.
Yeah, I mean,
you've not got too long to wait for us again.
I guess it's really up to you guys. Like, do you want us to do any sort of live streaming during the actual semi-finals and finals? Let us know in the chat.
Yeah, like I say, we can't really say much about it while it's on, so it might not be worth. But
we could probably figure something out.
We can figure something out. Yeah.
So let us know either in the chat now on either of our Twitter handles. Just let us know, because this kind of podcast stuff is all based on your feedback. So it's like, if you guys want more, we'll do more. If you don't want more, then we won't do more. Provided we get people in and listening and engaged, then we'll do more.
Joe Blackburn says, John Armstrong's goal for the Steelers on Saturday. Didn't see it, so I
haven't
can't
seen
comment.
Honestly, I haven't seen it.
Okay, we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah. So that's a bit of homework for us. We need to watch that goal.
Yeah.
Do one for the season and one for the playoffs. Okay, so somebody suggested the idea: best player for each team for the season, and then for the playoffs.
Okay, yeah.
We could do our ones for the season now. Yeah. I don't know most of the players.
I would need to look into it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd probably need to look into it. I could probably rattle off like 5 or 6 maybe, but
yeah. Yes, Jacob, it's on the BBC Sport website.
The
Sunday
semi-finals is on EIHL TV. Both of those games on the Saturday are on their website, I believe, or their video player, and then the final is on the BBC Sport app website thing. Red button? Would it be on Red Button?
I think it's just online.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think getting slashed hurts as much as it does. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, pure example, Mark Mathot's finger being chopped by Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
Oh, that was grim. Ugh.
Right.
So yeah, once again, guys, as we're sort of waiting for our last few questions, if there are any more British hockey questions, a specific team, a specific player, all that stuff.
Oh, Max says it is on the Red Button. That's cool.
Oh, perfect.
If you think of any others, tweet us them.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So send us questions
I've got
whenever.
a list. Send me it, and I've got a list going for tomorrow.
Yes.
For tomorrow, for next week.
So yeah, if you have enjoyed the stream, you are enjoying the stream, you want to enjoy the stream more, do hit that subscribe button. If you haven't done so already. If you have, then you're great and you're wonderful and we love you. Super chats there if you want to give a bit of money. Sponsorships there. I want that custom emojis, folks. We're one away, literally one away. We need one more. So that would be cool if we could get that going. Let us know via the chat or via Twitter if you want any more, or if you want any live podcast thingamabobs.
Yeah, let us know in the Twitter.
Yes. I think we've got a few more questions here.
It's
Pavel
more just
Shagalo for
that
being the only goalie to get a suspension in the league this season.
people are just kind of. I mean, everyone's kind of talking amongst themselves. Max and Turtle Carnage are talking about their own hockey things.
Fair
So
play. Liam Kirk's chances in the NHL.
depends if he gets drafted.
Well, yeah. The problem is, I've watched a few Steelers games this season. I've probably watched about half a dozen Steelers games this season.
Cheers, Calais, bro.
Kales bro. Thanks for the super chat, but I will just send the link in the chat again, just in case you want to become a sponsor. I mean, people that are thinking of doing super chat, I would prefer if you became a sponsor. But I mean, if it's like, oh, that's £5, like, I don't want to pay that much. That's fine. But if you are willing to pay that much and you want to help us unlock custom emojis, follow that link I've just put in the chat. And yeah, there should be a sponsor button.
Yep, there will
be. Do that. Kirk is a great skater and puck handler, but he's way too lightweight. Yeah, he'd definitely have to put some pounds on. He'd have to get some more muscle on his body. Then again, that's quite a common issue for NHL prospects. The problem is that they've got the skills there, they just don't have the frame. Which, I mean, if Liam Kirk was to basically, he just needs to put some time in the gym. I mean, I can't really talk about that much because I don't think I've ever been in a gym in my entire life. But yeah, I think that's what the scouts would say. That's what some of the scouts have said. This like, oh yeah, he's got really good talent. He just like his frame will fill out in time. Like he's 17, 18 years old, so it happens. Hello, Alex. You're right, mate. How's it going, boy? Come on, Cardiff. Well, yeah. They almost got beaten by the Blaze, but fair play. I think that there are many US players like Kirk that don't get the chance. I think Kirk will get drafted. I think he will. It may be a 7th round pick. It may be a 6th round pick. Like, I don't think he's not going to go in the first round. Like, that's obvious. He's not going to go in the first half of the draft, but I think he will get drafted. I think there will be a team somewhere down the line in the 5th, 6th, or 7th round of the draft that go, why not? I honestly think that will be Liam Kirk's entrance into the NHL. A team will go, yeah, all right, why not, and pick him. Because they can't think of anybody distinctly better than him to draft in one of the later rounds. And if he proves to be an absolutely fantastic player for them, makes it out of training camp, or takes a couple of years to make it to the AHL roster or the NHL roster, like he's got the potential to do something good, both for himself, for his franchise that potentially drafts him, and for British hockey. Yeah, he's also got the advantage that he's been playing against men for the last season. Like, there are some teams that really pride that over playing in juniors. I personally would as well. Like, sticking up 60 goals a season in the juniors doesn't really mean that much to me compared to a 20-goal season in a professional hockey league with men. You know? So, yeah.
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 Total Carnage, we can't do score predictions for Sunday yet until we know who's in them.
Yeah, that's very true.
So, yeah, but any more questions, tweet us.
Yeah, I think we'll wrap up here then, folks. So, yeah, thank you very much for watching the stream, ladies and gents. If you want more, tweet us at OldManRushYT, at Chris_Gadsby. We're right here. We read your tweets. I mean, I read your tweets. I don't know about him.
Yeah, I do.
He reads your tweets.
Of course, so I do.
Good. So yeah, let us know if we get enough attention, then we'll be like, yeah, you guys actually have to tweet us. If you're like, yeah, I would really like that, but you don't tell us, we won't know. So yeah, do let us know on Twitter. Subscribe, super chat, sponsorship, whatever you want, whatever takes your fancy. I would prefer the sponsorship over the super chat though, because we need those custom emojis. If somebody wants to send me a signed David Clark trading card, I'd absolutely love that. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the stream. I've got 2 videos going out tonight, so you are very much spoilt for choice. So thanks for watching, and ever the professional here. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Goodbye. Anything to say, Chris?
Oh, if you're... Oh, no, yeah, thanks for watching.
Chris lost because Belfast went out last week.